All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode here from Moolah News. We're gonna, take a look at cryptos. It is April 9th, 2022. We got Bitcoin at about 43,000. We've got Ethereum at about 3,300. We've got Solana at about $114. And we've got Dogecoin at 15 cents. And we've got Binance at $427 a share. Let's go ahead and start with a Binance chart. There we can see how Binance just jumped, just did the slow move up to about 42, 44, and then just did a pretty rapid 10x from there last year. Luna, sitting at 40 cents, did a 10x to about 4.5, really did, I guess almost a 20x plus, came back down to 4. And now we're back up to, 100. So quite impressive moves by Luna. Now, if you take a look at this chart, the one thing that anyone should conclude is how volatile these cryptos can be. So let's take a look at a long-term trend here. And, if we were gonna even come down to, let's say, some lower bands, a lower trend line, this thing could still be in an uptrend and go all the way back to $6 and not make a new, low there and come back down right about here to $6 and then still end up at, $400 a share by the end of next year. Now, the question for everybody is, if you're pretty sure, Luna's going to hit $500 a share, by now you're going to make a 5x. But what if you're patient? And what if it does drop back to 6? And then you can make like 100x in like a year. So that's kind of, what's going on and, how people gotta, kind of look at, the risks, the upsides, the rewards, kind of, how to play things. So now let's take a look at Bitcoin. Look on this chart here. Again, this is long term. And you can see, at least on this chart for me, with my Gann lines and kind of reverse Gann lines and things like that, we've got Bitcoin kind of out in no man's land. I kind of consider this like kind of 35-ish level to kind of be a magnet. I don't know if it's going to move, too far away from this. If it does, I expect it to come back down, over this decade. Now, that doesn't mean that this thing can't pop above $1 million a share and still end up back at 35,000 and still end up, at $3 million a share, 3-4 years from now. So, I mean, if you look at a long-term trend and then kind of imagine like an upper bound and a lower bound on a trend line, that as it's still going up, you still see, downside even, to 5,000. And I know this, sounds crazy to a lot of people. No one could imagine, these kind of big moves, but crypto is gonna, potentially be, unreal. And the big banks, they want to control all this stuff. They don't want any new technology taking over their business, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, whatever. They want to, any new innovation comes out, they've got to co-opt it. And so they're going to try to maybe even try to create volatility in a lot of these cryptos so that everyone is going to say, run to their senator and say, yeah, just pass the bill, please save me, please help me make money. And that's what you're going to find in a lot of other YouTube videos too, is these kind of defenders of the Goldman Sachs kind of Bank of America, central bank kind of insider, saying, hey, government regulation is going to save you. Government regulation is going to be the thing that's going to help you make money in crypto. And that's just the message. And that's what gets paid. I'm not getting paid, to be here. And you're probably not, very few people are going to find, a video like this, because the ones that YouTube's going to promote are going to be the central bank friendly themes that are like, hey, let's get some regulation and that's going to help crypto. And who knows what's going to help crypto. I would imagine, part of the whole thing about most crypto enthusiasts is not, outright maybe changing the whole system, but hey, changing the whole system. This is supposed to reinvent money and reinvent finance. And that means, hello, like the same people aren't going to be in charge anymore. And the current central banks, the current politicians, the current bankers, they don't want to hear that. And they want to make sure that they take over the space. So anyway, that's part of what all the volatility is going to come. You're going to have these, big waves up where all the institutions start buying, and then you're going to have like all the, big banks creating, a big crash so that they can say, hey, we got to regulate this because grandma in Ohio just lost her whole entire savings. And that's how the news goes. The news comes up with, these crazy, emotion baiting, fear-based stories, and then everybody wants, a big government to save them. So anyway, let's take a look at Ethereum. See one of these charts here. Got this kind of crazy stuff going on. Does any of this stuff work? Who knows? Any video that you see out there, you can kind of get these kind of GAN lines or, whatever this thing is, to kind of line up however you want to. I've kind of made it where I think it seems to make some sense, kind of trading around some of these lines. And so, I wonder what's going to happen here. Is it going to kind of ride above this kind of bubble and then crash back down into here and then come back up, on top of this bubble? That's going to put Ethereum at like $63,000 a share. If you look at the long-term trend line and ignore all these, crazy circles, maybe we're at, $3-4 million a share, 5 years from now. But again, this looks like a Fibonacci, something. Anytime you see any technical analysis, just take it with a grain of salt. There's no magic, formula out there that's going to work every single time. There's stuff that works for you like 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a row. And the 9th time, it can blow up, your entire account if you think that you have this magic solution. There are things that can work, but nothing is certain. It's a market and anything can happen. Really, the only people that know are, the biggest insiders that kind of know when news is going to drop. And, that's a whole nother topic. But anyway, hey, 2022, completely different flavor than 2021. 2021, I was doing a lot of trading. It was an exciting year. This year, I'm kind of in a holding pattern, just not really sure what to make of anything. I look at Luna again, unfortunately, this thing could drop all the way back to $10 and still easily be in an uptrend. Do I personally think it's probably going to 2000, which would be a nice 20x? Yeah, but would I rather watch it go to 2000 from like 10? And what would that be? That would be a 200x instead of a 10x on your trade. So, keep some powder dry. Um, on the flip side, if things do start kind of breaking out, I wouldn't be in a hurry to sell anything. You know, there's a lot of institutional money that's going to be ready to, you know, just chase these things, you know, way up, way up, way up. So, and a lot of market participants have been burned. I've, you know, quote unquote, been burned. You know, for example, Peercoin, a long time coin, which, you know, this thing could end up being 2 cents. You know, could be end up being totally worthless, but it shot up to $5. You know, would have been nice if I would have just sold out up there, had another pop, you know, above 260. Would have been nice if I had gotten out there, and I'm just holding. And now they've got people pretty well trained that if it gets back up here, people are going to be like, man, I just got to sell. And I'll tell you, I'm just going to hold my bags. I'm, you know, playing for, you know, 71 kind of thing, you know, and that's how I would approach things if I were you. Same thing with Syscoin. Again, you know, I'm kind of looking for this thing to pop to $25 a share. I'm not going to be in a rush to sell if it breaks out to $2, $3, you know, maybe 8. I start, you know, wondering, but really I should hold on. At the same time, you know, a long-term trend, this thing could drop down to 6 cents and still be in an uptrend. So unfortunately, these are the realities that you got to consider, and that's why it's not always good to be a moon boy and just think that everything's always going to be go up, and you know life is, you know. So anyway, we're gonna end up video here. Moolah News, and let me know any questions in the comments. Follow us on Twitter. Have a good one.